Morning of the candidates feature shoot with Bernard Dunn, and unknown to the guys, Billy and Norman will be looking at a video feed to see how they get on with Bernard on location, as well as judging them on their photos. They each get half an hour to get 2 good shots. With Bernard's first European title fight in a couple of weeks, they can't afford to waste a minute of his time. First up is James.
This seems a long way from where they started, isn't it? God, this is like a huge trek, isn't it?
Yeah. James decides to do his shoot well away from the gym, and Bernard is not too impressed with the location.
Hey, you have me walking through like 2 foot grass.
Side, right?
You're telling me to bring wellies.
I tell you, I want to get that G out of the way. See it there, so if you send it over here, is that right?
You just tell me where you want me.
Hold on now, hold on. Stare right into that now.
Where do you want me? Standing straight, or do you want me?
Just kind of.
But he needs to direct him a bit more, I think, you know. Like Bernard has obviously done a lot of this before. But
I think he's running out of ideas here, isn't he? He could lose Bernard now any minute if he doesn't watch it.
Stick the hands up, alright? Look down at me like you're just after fucking decking me, alright? Bernard, listen, an absolute pleasure, thank you very much.
No bother up.
Go on, okay. Hopefully someone else will out alright now.
Yeah.
We did quite well at the end there, you know.
Alan is hoping to get his first shot done quickly, as he's planning to pack 2 locations into his 30 minutes.
He's too preoccupied with himself here, you know, and it's like a lack of confidence in himself as a photographer, because he's checking every picture there, and he's not even talking to Bernard there.
Sure.
Standing around here.
He's kind of doing a lot of fiddling around.
Just want to look off into the distance there.
Alan finishes his planned shots in only 10 minutes, so he decides to use his remaining 20 minutes on some improvised ideas.
Lovely, by the way. You want to look straight ahead of you. That's it, that's the winning shot.
I think the winning shot came as a bit of a surprise to him there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Paul sticks to his plan, getting shots of Bernard in the ring, as PJ suggested.
We'll do one with you both kind of just looking focused, straight forward. And then I was thinking about another one where he's kind of like leaning.
But like if it was more relaxed and said, look, we're going to start over here and we'll just sit you on the stool and see how it looks. I'll show you the pictures. He's been too strident here, really.
You could just sort of hang your head down and your gloves like that. Put the middle lights on and turn those.
Actually shut the light off, you know.
Yeah.
It's quite smart.
Okay. Then kind of just lean into me a bit.
He's directing him a bit more. He has an idea really what he wants.
Excellent. Brilliant.
Well, James was completely off the track. He wanted to go into a field there and ruin my good suit, you know. Alan, I think, was happy with his first shot, you know, and he didn't really want to do any more, but, you know, he said he had 25 minutes, so he may as well waste them. And Paul was kind of thinking in his head than anything else, like, you know, he knew what he wanted to do, and, you know, he was trying to be more artistic, I suppose, in a way, you know. Plus he had me freezing my ass off.
The candidates head back to Inpho to touch up their shots before selecting 2 each for presentation to Sunday Tribune sports editor PJ Cunningham. Will any of their photos be good enough to be published in the sports section? PJ's choice will help Billy decide which candidate he's going to choose to go on to the second week's work placement.
First thing to say is, well done. Standard very high. I like this one. Just a good shot. I like his expression, I like the way he got the loose hands. Would have been better if we had a round light there, would have given a halo effect. That shot could be used in any national newspaper. This one? That's me. Okay, you're looking round to see, can I get something to complement the subject I'm about to do? And that's excellent in the photographer. Because there's a fight, because I want to get a kind of a tiger look into a face, I'm in hunting mood. That's the one I think I'd be happiest to go with at the end of the day.
By playing it safe and sticking to the brief, Paul may have given himself an advantage, but being chosen to go through to the second week is by no means guaranteed. As the boys head back to Inpho, Billy and Norman have to decide which of the candidates will progress to next week's work placement and who will be asked to leave.
We felt that the initial feature that you did, that you actually didn't really understand what we tried to get across. When we did the first feature at the beginning of the week, your intercommunication with the guy with the football was very good.
You've done so well. You've actually left a lot more questions unanswered for us than you've actually answered, okay? You know, you're a bit of a mystery man. What are you going to really do? Are you going to commit to Inpho for, you know, 6 months, a year? Personality and everything came across really well. There's great qualities in there.
You know what I said to you last week about I thought you were a bit of a chancer? I would actually taking that back now.
You were thrown in at deep. Kind of impressed me when you took a bit of initiative with Bernard Dunn. You were easily, you know, in your element.
Photographically, you have a reasonable amount of potential. The feature that Sunday Tribune are going to use, obviously that also works in your favour as well because they picked out that picture. As a result of that, we've decided...
You've got a tough week ahead of you to prove us wrong.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much.
I don't know if you're dead set in photography. If you are, it actually didn't come across to us. Unfortunately, the camera just didn't look comfortable with you. You have an obvious passion for sport, you know.
So, having, you know, had to weigh up all that, we want you to come back next week.
Oh, thanks very much, Bill.
All right.
Cheers.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Norman. Thank you.
You're up against two very strong competitors, okay? And realistically, they outshot you.
For that reason, we won't be asking you back for next week.
It's a kick in a bad place. It's a big letdown. Like but you know, yeah, it doesn't feel good. It was a great experience and it was a good chance, a good opportunity for me, and I was hoping to get it so I wouldn't have to worry about assignments. Now I have loads to do.
End of the week, both candidates will be thrown in the deep end at an international rules game at Croke Park. But first, they need to get to grips with action photography.
What we're going to do this week is crank it up. 75% of the stuff we do is actually action photography. You're up against deadlines, you're up against technology, you're up against other photographers and so on and so forth. It's much more immediate, it's much more pressure than what you had in the feature. For this we're going to give you big lenses, we're going to give you a 400-8 lens. I mean basically it's press the button, focus, autofocus, and if it doesn't work it out.
Okay.
You know?
Great.
It's not rocket science really.
Perfect. Looks a bit like rocket science.
Billy is sending the guys to a junior hurling match without guidance to make mistakes and get them thinking.
This is it. This is the bread and butter week. You know what I mean? You have to be so on form this week. It's a one-off chance. You know what I mean? I want to win. I don't want to become second. There's no prizes for seconds.
On holiday.
With the game in full swing, Paul is hit with more technical problems and again turns to Billy to sort it out for him.
Billy, when I'm reviewing the pictures in the back of the camera, they seem to be reacting a bit funny. I've not got any photos yet really that I'd be happy with, so I need to keep trying.
We have one or two nice shots so far, so hopefully the guys will see what I was trying to get at, you know what I mean?
On returning to the office, Billy and Norman view Paul and James's first action shoot. And having shot over 800 frames between them, there should be loads of great shots to choose from.
Paul there was 2 pictures that we would have even looked at, and James with 3. So there you go. You've tried to do too much there. You've tried to, just your exposure, you're trying to do it manually with all these other things going on around. That's the best shot. Here, it's the classic thing, and it's the same happened with Paul, is that you've too much far away and then suddenly, for some reason, too much close in. And it's an optical thing inside the camera. Your backgrounds were terrible. It was too far away, or it was too close. Angles weren't great. Didn't get sequences, didn't get peak action. So all the things that we need, you missed.
With neither of the guys grasping the action shot, Billy shows them some examples of how it should be done.
See how the low angle, this is actually sitting down, right? If the photographer had been standing up for that, then that would look very flat. When he did do that dive, it's much more dynamic photograph. This is a great picture now. It illustrates brilliantly what's known as height of action photograph, right? He's actually got a moment, an absolute split second, that nobody else got. This is by Dan Sheridan, and at the Heineken Cup final, and then Peter Stringer, who was man of the match, is celebrating. It's actually on the final whistle, but it made a really good picture. But again, it's not luck. It's anticipation and knowing that something could happen.
With a clearer picture in mind, Billy has arranged for the lads to attend an Aircom League of Ireland match between St Pat's and Shamrock Rovers at Talca Park tonight. But there's more to it than just picture taking. During the game, their photos need to be emailed back to Inpho and sent to the papers, if they're good enough. This is a pressurised part of the job, and they need to get to grips with it before the game.
There's absolutely no point in you actually taking pictures at the pitch if you can't get them back to the office, okay? We don't want to see rubbish being sent in, okay? And you're going to do yourself no favours. So edit well, pick out a good shot in here, and try and aim to get something in before half-time.
I want to see a massive improvement on what we had yesterday. What I want to, at the end of it, is that I'm going to be confident that when we do the big one, which is on Sunday, that you're going to be capable of doing that, because if it's rubbish tonight, then we've got big problems for Sunday.
I thought he wouldn't escape.
As they settle into their sideline seats, Inpho senior staff photographer Donald Farmer gives them a few more tips about the game.
Don't forget your team sheets. Don't worry about not getting anything in the first few minutes. The action will come to the end. So don't be panicking if you haven't got it. You're better off waiting to get a good shot rather than sending something early just for the sake of it.
I'm really comfortable in this kind of environment since I can remember I've been going to sporting events. So this is my home, you know what I mean? Hopefully this is my bread and butter.
The biggest thing really straight off now is to get a crisp shot, a decent action shot in the first half. That's my initial goal.
As the game is drawing to a close, they need to start editing their selections to send back to Inpho. But Paul has made a fundamental error and forgotten to record the players' names.
I'm just trying to find the name of the guy now, or the guys in it. And I'm going to get done for that as well, because I don't know the names of them.
I got lucky, he celebrated right in front of me, you know what I mean? So Billy will probably think it's shit though, so.
I'm not really very happy at the minute, but that was mad. That was just trying to do, you know, the laptop and all that.
Today I felt really confident. I was watching the TV last night and there was a little article on Trevor Malloy. I was happy I got that when I got it, and you know, I was lucky I stayed there. It's not easy, but yeah, I loved it.
With their first major action photo shoot under their belts, James and Paul head home to face Billy's feedback in the morning.